It's time for the Business of Life with Coach Ron Tunick and Jim Piccirillo.
Cody Como, the coach, and Jim Piccirillo. The show's called The Business Life. So honored that you would tune in.
You need a mic, Coach.
Oh.
Coach only been doing radio for 30 years. See that big thing with the talk right into there. Go ahead.
That's probably
Guy, he's used to just driving around in his car talking to himself. Let's try that again with feeling. Come on, take two.
Yeah, that may be the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me. The show is called The Business Life. Jim Piccirillo, Cody Como, and the coach, Coach Ron Tunick. Every Tuesday, all across the world. We're the number one show in what country? Ukraine. And we're, you laugh, but it's true, slowly building up a big audience in Iceland. And our show right here originates from our flagship station here in Santa Clarita, California. Newhall, to be exact. Let me say this. It's Happy Halloween, right?
Awesome. Happy Halloween,
So
Coach.
let's start with, first of all, we have a guest. He can talk anytime he wants. Sergeant Ernie Salazar.
How you doing?
Sergeant, nice to see you.
Welcome,
Pleasure
Sergeant.
to be here. Thank you.
Ex-Army Ranger with us for the whole show. He can butt in
That's some
anytime.
serious stuff.
Oh, he can whip your butt, boy.
Yep.
Did you shake his hand?
No, I'm afraid to.
Shake his hand.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's a grip, isn't
That's
it?
a man.
Yeah.
That's a man's man.
I've known him a long time. I used to be
Wow.
able to handle his grip.
Wow.
Yeah. So when was Halloween invented?
I don't know.
So
What the heck do I know?
we have
Halloween is my least favorite holiday.
Do you have our audience?
I can't give you much info
Do you
there.
have our audience? Cody, we're doing a live show here. Do you have our audience button? Because we have an audience today.
I can tell you, reading here, trick-or-treating was invented about 100 years ago. So
No,
But the actual
seriously, when was it?
Halloween-
Thank you. When was it invented? 2,000 years ago by the Celts,
That's right.
By the Celtics,
The Celts.
by the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, the Boston Celtics invented it.
Do you know how much money?
Red Auerbach. Figures he'd have something to do with it, right?
Yeah. Do you know today is worth $10 billion?
Oh, that's crazy.
So
It's so commercialized. I think that's probably why I don't like this holiday that much, you know?
can you believe I start this show without a mic?
It's like riding a horse. Just get back on, man.
Yeah,
Make sure you're facing the right way and take off, okay?
Whether there's a horse or not. So Ellen,
You're on the wrong end of the horse, son.
no kidding. So Ellen always asks me, what are you guys going to talk about tomorrow? So I said, Halloween. She said, you're not going to get negative on Halloween, are you? I said, no, sweetheart. We're going to be very positive about Halloween. That, sending.
So what do you like about Halloween? What's positive?
I like nothing about Halloween.
Well, okay, now you're getting negative. You just told her you weren't getting
I
negative.
know, but she's not listening to the show.
I mean, it's a great holiday, I guess. Kids love it.
You just were negative
I said
next door
it's my-
Jasmine's.
Oh, yeah. I said it's my least favorite, but I can see where kids like it. Okay?
I'll be hiding out, literally. Do you hide? Do you actually
No, I like
give candy?
No, I do. I love doing that. I love opening the door and seeing the kids and giving them candy. I love the look on their faces. I mean, it's fun.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll be watching the Dodgers. Never mind. It's a fun holiday,
That's
right?
true. I forgot about the Dodger game tonight.
When you grew
Holy
up in
cow.
West
on Halloween night, yeah.
Yeah, Halloween night, Dodgers.
Trick or treat. Let's hope
5:30.
it's a treat tonight for the Dodgers.
So when you grew up in Logan, West Virginia, in the Holla,
Yeah.
did you have Halloween?
No, Coach.
Of
course we did.
Every day.
Every day was
But
trick
we're-
or treat, man. Are you going to eat? Are you going to live? No. We had trick or treat. I mean, we had Halloween. We loved it. It was a lot of pranks in my day. We'd do kind of stuff.
Do you
we probably
regret
shouldn't be
some of
doing.
the pranks?
Yeah, I do. We were pretty ornery little fellows.
What's the worst that you ever did?
Oh,
He ate
the
houses.
everybody does the bag of dew on the porch and light it.
Oh, that's
We used to
terrible.
drop the dummies down off the bridge when people drive by, egging cars.
All right.
I actually got arrested for egging cars, but anyway.
So did you spend any jail time?
I wouldn't exactly call
So
it
is my
jail
partner
time.
a felon? Are you a
I
felon?
wouldn't exactly call it jail time. The city police in my little town picked us up and put us all out front and made our parents come and pick us up.
Which was the worst?
And then we had a sweep. We had to sweep and work on the streets for 2 weekends in a row. They thought that would embarrass us by putting us out on the street, and it did. But wasn't nothing big.
So that was Halloween.
Halloween.
in
Maybe
Logan.
that's why I don't like Halloween. I I don't know.
So when I was a kid, we unfortunately did some naughty things too. Naughty. We would throw eggs.
Yeah.
So I'm now 21, married, got a kid, Julie, and
You go out egging?
I got my car egged. I got my I bought a brand new yellow LTD when I'm 21 years old.
Sweet.
It was like the last car in the back of the Ford lot.
They have a vinyl
You know
top?
what- yeah,
half,
the
half
black,
vinyl?
Yes, the black.
That was a
yes.
sweet car. I love the LTD.
Yeah, but why yellow? So they egged the car and ruined the paint job.
Ooh.
You know how much I paid for that car?
I don't know.
Yes.
$7,000.
$2,500.
$2,500.
Brand new.
Yeah.
1967.
Wow. That was a long time ago.
You think it was?
Yeah. Was $2,500 a lot of money in those days for a car? Or
I thought it
Yeah.
was. I thought it was.
I remember Volkswagens being 1995. I remember a brand new.
Volkswagens. I had a 68. We got rid of the LTD because it got egged. Went in and bought a brand new on Ventura Boulevard in Canoga Park, a VW 68 2000.
2000
Actually,
bucks,
1995. Actually, it was 19.
That was
yeah.
their ad. Remember their ad? Yeah.
That was it. Yeah. Yeah. Good memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, can't relate.
$5,000 in parts, $19.99 to drive it off the lot. But
I love that Volkswagen.
Yeah. No, this thing's
I'm
still
not
running.
kidding you. All right, so that's enough for Halloween, right? Are we doing any more? Ernie, you want to
think
say
we-
anything?
I
You got a
think we-
5-year-old, so who's taking the 5-year-old around?
We
Sean.
both are. Actually, we're both going to take him out. He is Darth Vader this year. They have indoctrinated him into Star Wars. And
Is he
he's
excited?
He actually is. He's very much about probably age 2, age 3 is when he kind of really realized exactly what Halloween was all about. So now he just runs from house to house.
Now, do you go through the candy? So you're going to get a whole bag, right? Now, will you go through the candy before you let him eat it?
Oh yeah. Because what do they say? 70% of the candy that's eaten is eaten by the parents, not the kids. Pretty
Yeah.
much on Halloween.
No.
40 is eaten before you hand it out while you're standing there waiting on them to come to the door.
What are you going to hand out, Jimmy? What are you going to hand out?
I don't know. My wife's got 4 or 5 bags of stuff. I mean,
And then you'll have
the candy companies make. Think how much money they
10
make
billion.
on,
I just
on
gave
a
it to
day
you.
like
I
today.
just gave it to you. 10 billion.
And then here's the funny thing: your dentists buy it all back from you. $10 a pound or $5 a pound. You know that,
Not
right?
to be mean, but why don't you call it Dentist Day?
Dental day.
Dental Day.
Yeah.
Dental Day.
Dental day.
Why Halloween?
very scary.
No
Dental
offense,
Day.
but it's
Well,
hard to
we
get
were-
kids behind Dental Day. I think that's the big sell. I don't know if kids want to wear their costumes for Dental Day.
Yeah.
I'm a cavity. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
The show is right here on KHTS 1220 AM, an award-winning. We won the best radio station for community awards. Also, you can listen to us on hometownstation.com and our beautiful app. Go into the App Store and download KHTS 1220 AM. All right, so before we get into Ernie after our commercial breaks, I want to discuss something called pop-up stores. So if you go, our mall is like got a few empty stores in our mall. Did you realize that? Our
A
little
few.
mall.
Yeah, they got quite a few.
You're in. Does Simi have a mall? I don't think so.
Simi
No.
Valley Town Center, yeah.
But it's not. It's outdoor, right?
It is outdoor, yes.
And you and I grew up in Thousand Oaks, where the indoor mall, right?
Well, I grew up in the valley.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so between Panorama Mall, Northridge Mall was obviously really huge, Sherman Oaks Fashion Square, and then there was the one that got obliterated in the earthquake of '94 right at Sepulveda and Ventura Boulevard. Those were pretty much it.
Was that Sherman Oaks Galleria?
Yeah, there goes Sherman Oaks Gallery.
Yeah.
There we go.
I used to work at the Panorama City Mall.
Okay.
My first job in California, I worked at the Panorama City Mall.
What was the first mall? Wasn't it over by Grant High School? Wasn't it over by?
Laurel Plaza.
Yeah, Laurel
Plaza,
Plaza.
yep.
First mall. Is it still there?
Lancashire. There is still the building, but I think.
Did
that
you go to
it's-
Sylmar High?
No, I went to San Fernando.
Oh wow! Look at the face you're making. Oh, what's wrong with Sylmar High?
Don't anger him. Come on.
So, what pop-up store? First of all, this is an article from USA Today.
Well, let me ask you: is this something that bugs you, or you're just talking about it? What do you like pop-up stores, or what's the angle here,
I'm
man?
trying to ask. You're a brilliant entrepreneur, very successful man. I'm trying to ask you an intelligent question. Can I ask it?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I love Sharper Image, and if I could own Sharper Image, I would. I used to buy stuff. Remember in Thousand Oaks Mall, they were there. Now they're not in malls anymore, but they're going back in with what they call pop-up stores.
Yeah.
What would you do for a pop-up store? Seriously.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to find. You walk by the mall cart. It used to be the mall cart thing. They'd have the little.
They're still.
Are
Carts
they still there?
Still there. Yeah, the carts are still there.
But I think Sharper Image had to rethink their whole deal, though. They weren't doing good there.
I love.
I mean, how much of that gadget
you-
junky stuff can you have? You know, I mean, really.
You're a gadget junkie guy. What are you talking about?
High quality. I never thought their stuff was great stuff, to be honest. You know, personally, I thought it was cheaper.
That's Jim
I thought it was
Piccirillo.
cheaper in electronics and just I don't know. That's me personally. I think it's why they went out of business here.
Is Radio Shack still in business?
Barely.
What about Sears?
But I loved Radio Shack as a kid. Oh my God,
Me
going
too.
in there and
Me too. The only thing I never understood was their batteries lasted like a week.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so
I
you
mean,
come back next week and buy another one.
Yeah, maybe that was their strategy. So
It's like a light bulb.
trying to
you know.
ask you an honest question.
Oh, okay.
Let me go to Ernie because you're not paying attention.
Well, you didn't ask me anything.
What would
Oh,
you
the
do for a
pop-up
pop-up?
question.
Yeah, what would you do for a pop-up store?
Man, I don't know. That's a tough question, Ernie.
Jeez.
This
I
is
remember-
live radio.
I'd sell Halloween candy.
Let's move. It's not a bad idea. You know, there's a ton of Halloween costume pop-up stores that they're only open for a month, but they do well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you guys are really full of ideas. Let's go to the Millennial Minute before we do what's bugging me. So this is Cody Como, ladies and gentlemen. He's 25 years old. He is absolutely brilliant with his fishy shirt on today. Are you going trick-or-treating that shirt?
I'm not. No, I'm not going trick-or-treating this year.
That's his costume. What are you talking about?
I know. That's what
Unaffected millennial.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. That's your costume. What does a 25-year-old do on Halloween night? Seriously.
Me, personally, I mostly just stay home and watch movies. Not much of a partier, and that seems to be the other big thing you could do, is you can put on a costume and go out and get drunk. I'm not super big with that, so I mostly just stay home, kind of take in the spooky atmosphere, so to speak, watch some movies.
Now,
and just kinda unwind.
will your parents hand out candy?
Yeah, typically, if they're not doing anything, yeah.
And then what do you mean if they're not doing anything?
Sometimes they go
How
to
much
parties,
candy will
sometimes,
you
yeah.
eat? Be honest.
Me, personally, it depends. If it's sour gummy candy, a
Yeah,
lot of it. If
okay.
it's chocolate, stuff like that, not so much.
Not so much
Not big on
chocolate.
it.
I'm a big chocolate guy.
You can have
Okay.
mine.
Give me your Millennial Minute today.
A little bit tying into Halloween a little bit. It's a little bit, again, calling out some older. We went to Trunk or Treat recently, and while I
Where did you go?
Trunk or Treat, Real Life Church. They had a big event. It was nice. We were there on a Sunday. We had the fire truck. It was
Oh,
great.
truck or treat. I didn't know
sorry.
what you were saying.
Yeah, I didn't know what he's saying either.
That word gets me. Trunk or treat. There we go.
Trunk.
Trunk, not truck.
Oh, where they open the trunks and put
Yeah, it's a big event. They
People
have it every
donate stuff.
year.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. They have magic shows, all kinds of stuff for the kids. And while I do think it's pretty cute seeing families dressed up, I still just can't get over seeing anyone over the age of 19 independently dressed up in a costume. I can't get past that. I don't get it. I don't get these adult-themed costumes, I guess. So I don't know. That just struck me as odd over this weekend.
Did you see Jasmine? I didn't recognize her. Did you see Jasmine with
I
the
honestly
blonde?
walked in and I was like, oh, we got a new Dutch person. I didn't know that.
I mean, she really, I don't know how, just the blonde wig, that was it? Or is there makeup on? I mean, the thing that
something.
I've never wanted to be anybody else but me. Did you ever want to be anybody else, Jim? But you?
Jerry West, maybe.
Jerry West?
Yeah.
Good choice.
He was my idol growing up, one of my idols.
What about you,
one of my many
Sergeant
idols.
Ernie Salazar?
You know, I've done a lot of different things, anywhere from ghosts to goblins, ghouls, Dracula. One year we did, there was probably about 9 or 10 of us, and we all dressed as, it was basically various stages of zombies and whatnot, but
Yeah.
that's pretty much about the extent of it.
But so when you read these articles, adults like to take a day off and be somebody else. It's like it relieves stress. But you and I, Cody, we just
don't
like
get it,
being
yeah.
us,
Well,
right?
there's been I'm amazed at how many parties there are too. For a couple of weeks now, I've been, watching my friends on Facebook. They're at a party like every night, So I think adults really get into Halloween.
I think they're spending a lot of money, a lot
Yeah.
more money than the kids sometimes.
People like to dress up, like you said.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I want to
Get
give a
ripped
shout.
roaring
I had a
down.
little procedure last week. I want to give a shout out to Henry Mayo Hospital. Incredible people over there. Just have you ever been over there, Jimmy, for anything?
Henry Mayo?
Yeah.
I've been there a few times.
Yeah. I mean, just incredible people. I mean, to
Yeah.
me, it was like the Ritz-Carlton. Really, the way they treated me was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a nice local community hospital. We're very lucky to have them in this community.
Really, well said. Well said. The show's called The Business Life, KHTS, 1220 a.m. What's bugging me is something pretty serious.
What's bugging Coach?
I think we need a draft. Sergeant, you're an ex-Army Ranger. There was it's funny, you and I talked 2 weeks ago about you coming on the show. That day, I'm reading an article about the Army cannot attract enough people.
Exactly.
And why don't we have Cody? You can jump in on this too. Why don't we have a draft? You don't have to go into the armed forces, but you have to do 2 years of community service. You have to give back to the country, doing something, helping the poor. Going down to these hurricane seasons when they come and giving help down there. Don't you think there's some merit in a draft like that?
I don't think forced draft, no, but I think everyone should take it upon themselves to do things like that and volunteer. And I think as Americans, a lot of people do. I mean, I don't know anything about the Army. I don't know if their ranks are up or down or whatever.
They're down.
They're down.
But you can tell, I mean, just look around from these past hurricanes, how many people jumped in. Nobody waited on the government to jump in. People got on GoFundMe and Facebook and started raising money. You had athletes do it. You had regular, normal people do it. You had, like, what is the Louisiana Navy, the guys that brought their personal boats over and got, I love that stuff.
Texas Navy.
Yeah, Texas Navy or whatever. I think Americans respond when they need to.
They do.
Neighbors help one another out. We've seen it here in Santa Clarita numerous times, especially during the earthquake. My neighbors, everybody banded together.
No,
we're like a band of brothers.
That's what makes our country special. Ernie, you got a take on this?
In going around the country and around the world, there are different. Obviously, we were talking about Israel. They make a mandatory, 2-year service of some type. I grew up with a brother and sister who actually did that. They actually, were dual citizens. They went back. The brother did his minimum requirement. The sister, the daughter, actually stayed. And just so happens I was overseas, had a chance to meet up with her, and she just actually got out, I believe, last year as a lieutenant colonel. She actually worked up the ranks. Little tiny mousy thing, ended up doing Coast Guard combat, kind of basically hand-to-hand combat stuff.
We don't describe people as mousy on the show.
Well, she was called Mouse. That was her nickname, was Mouse. So it's all a term of endearment. But it was one of those things where
I would never call you mousy.
I appreciate that. Thank you. So, but it was one of those things that she actually, they were very actually proud to go and do that. Now, as you and I have talked on numerous occasions about things, some sort of service. Is it in the military? Is it in the post office? Somewhere within the federal government to get a better understanding. I know there's been movies that have kind of portrayed that kind of ideology where somebody goes in the military and they're allowed to do this, become a citizen. Was it Starship Troopers or whatever that movie was? A little bit kind of awkward, but still one of those things where because of the service, you actually are able to have other kind of benefits. But it's honestly. We have for so long, been understaffed, overstaffed, kind of gone back and forth. Now we're obviously at a point where the force structure is stretched very, very thin. And as you alluded to, there is obviously the ranks are lower.
And they pay hundreds of millions of dollars.
Why is the ranks lower? What's caused this to happen?
Well, when I was going in, basically in '96, Clinton did what we called the Great Escape, where they were basically, if anybody had been in a month or more, you were given, money, or basically said, hey, you're basically released from your obligation of service, and people were getting out. So when I was in, the mid-level NCOs and officers, what would have been there as I was coming up through the ranks, were not there. Then, of course, over time, obviously, with different conflicts, Gulf II, then kicked off. They swelled the ranks, and then, now technically with not having anybody or any kind of quote-unquote conflict or official conflicts, it's just the numbers have gone way down, and now we're finding that, once again, we're in the same boat where we don't have enough people.
Jimmy, are you aware that they pay incentives for you to go into the service?
I am not.
Okay. So, Cody, what do you think?
I would hope they pay them very well to go and put their life on the line. I mean, that should be one of the highest paid jobs of all. If
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree. I have a grandson that's in the United States Marine in Camp Pendleton, Michael.
And should take care of them after they come back as well.
Well, he gets a 4-year, I will say this, he gets a 4-year education. He's learning to be a heavy equipment mechanic, so he's going to have a career for life.
Yeah.
So the point I was making was so many kids, I want to get Cody's take on this, so many kids when they graduate high school have no clue. They're 17, 18, they have no clue, Jim, or Ernie, what they're going to do.
Sure.
Why not put them into some kind of service where they can learn a career?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Marines, but some kind of service. How about painting the railroad sidings of all the graffiti, doing something to benefit the country? And by doing that, You learn skills, you learn tasks, you learn how to complete tasks, you learn how a process works, you learn how to deal with people, you learn how to work under management, you learn how to work in a team environment.
I like it.
Cody, what do you think before we go to break? You're 25.
I don't want to get too specific. I would
Uncle
say,
Ron wants you.
Yeah, I would say one thing in my experience, young people in general, they like to avoid two things, responsibility and discomfort. So that's one reason why I'd believe the draft would be a controversial decision to bring back, because I don't know any young person who really
Nobody's
wants to do
talking about it. I mean, I'm the only one bringing it up. I'm thinking about running for president along with 100 other people. We're going to take.
Vote.
You have my. I do.
Anybody can get elected nowadays.
Anybody.
Yeah, you got a chance. You got a chance.
What's the guy that he could get elected? The Rock, the wrestler that you watch.
Dwayne
Aren't
Johnson.
you into wrestling?
Oh yeah, man, I watch it all the time.
I
Love
thought you
it.
did. The show's called The Business Life. Jimmy Piccarello and
Dwayne
the coach.
Johnson.
Drugs or alcohol abuse can tear a family apart. In Santa Clarita, just like everywhere else, it's an epidemic. The Way Out Recovery is here to help. Call them now at 296-4444 or visit them on the web at thewayoutrocoveryscv.com. The Way Out offers outpatient treatment for adolescents, adults, and family members. The Way Out is compassionate, caring, professional, and confidential. You and your family don't have to suffer any longer. Call the Way Out Recovery now, 296-4444, or visit thewayoutrocoveryscv.com and make an appointment. Asking for help is the first step.
Do you see it? It should be around here somewhere.
No, what was that address again?
Your building sign is essential to getting customers into your location. Feathers can help get your business noticed. They'll walk you through each phase of your building sign project, providing special attention to detail and quality. Feathers will give you a sign you can be proud of. Your building sign will draw customers in instead of having them drive by. Feathers on Soledad in Canyon Country, across from the Edwards Theater.
Finding the right lawyer can be a challenge, but in Santa Clarita, there's no need to search when there's Hacker Law Group, Santa Clarita's premier litigation firm. Jeffrey Hacker has represented celebrities, financial institutions, accident victims, real estate developers, realtors, contractors, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and other individuals and companies with their legal challenges. Mr. Hacker is one of Santa Clarita's leaders, consistently listed as one of our most influential. When everything is on the line and you need legal counseling, visit hackerlawgroup.com.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign, next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
When you're looking for a midnight snack, sometimes fast food just doesn't cut it. Formerly Donut Inn, California Bakery and Cafe is now open 24/7, so you'll be able to find fresh donuts, danishes, bagels, all-natural fruit juices, gourmet sandwiches, and much more at any hour. With elaborate cakes for any occasion, including weddings, baptisms, anniversaries, corporate events, or any special event. California Bakery and Cafe in Santa Clarita is open 24 hours to satisfy any craving, anytime. Call us, 255-1254.
A Royal Suite.
For the first time in their history, 50% off everything in the store. It's the huge 40th anniversary sale at a Royal Suite Home Furnishings. Everything, yes, everything is on sale at 50% off. Bedrooms, dining rooms, living rooms, recliners, and Murphy beds, all 50% off. Even their huge selection of mattresses from Diamond and Englander. See their new line of adjustable beds at 50% off. Nothing will be held back. Every item from every manufacturer. Hurry, it's the final day. Everything 50% off at the big 40th anniversary sale at a Royal Suite Home Furnishings in Center Point across from Sam's Club or at aroyalsuite.com.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
My dear friend Jim Piccarello and the coach, Coach Ron Tunick on the show, Tuesdays at 1, heard all over the country. We're heard all over the country every day of the week, but that's another story. On KHTS 1220, our flagship station right here out of Santa Clarita, Newhall, California. Newhall, man, Jimmy, it's amazing. Did you see the parking structure?
Yeah.
That thing went up
really quickly.
Unbelievable. If the city wants to build some.
That's right. When they put their mind to it.
Yeah.
Which is good. That'll relieve a lot. I think more people will come down here now that they have a place.
Now,
to
are you
going
to take your revved up to autosports.com and park your cars in the? That's a good place to park your car.
I
Nobody
could, yeah.
ever know.
Let's hope they're there when I come back. But sure, no, just kidding.
Yeah,
I think you're going to see this town explode down here. There's a lot of nice stuff going on.
Your
Downtown
friend that
New Orleans
owns the
happening.
winery that was on our show a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Doug at Double Trouble.
Double Trouble. Yeah, they're only open at night.
There's a lot of good restaurants in there. A lot of good nightlife. Music starting to happen.
Well, I think I asked
two theaters. It's cool down here, man.
Isn't there a live theater?
There's two.
Well, you're a hip guy.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Well,
I'm boring.
Get out at night and you can be hip just like us.
Not going out at night.
Careful taking Uber home, but
No, that's a story.
Yeah.
Ernie Salazar, my dear friend I've known for years and years, ex-Army Ranger, now trying to help tens of thousands of people. Are you a financial planner? What do you call yourself?
I'm actually more of I am basically helping build families, stronger individuals while serving financial services. So the mission that I have that I've created for myself is basically between now and December 31st of 2020. I want to help a minimum of 10,000 families become the strongest version of themselves physically and fiscally.
Wow. So both Jim and I have daughters. Well, he has one daughter, I have three daughters. And the financial planning that I did for my daughters was real simple. I told them to marry wealthy people.
That is a great advice. Send them to a college that has wealthy,
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Bring home the financial statement, and it
Did they do well?
None
they
of it
didn't
worked
do that.
out. All three of them
maybe they better go the more traditional route with Ernie.
All three of them got divorced. Yeah. So how do you go about, are we going to sit down in the kitchen over a table? How do you do it?
Well, it's interesting because you and I were talking, Coach. I come from a single-parent background, single-parent home. My mom worked for LA Unified for over 30 years. She just retired a couple of months ago. And I learned what I knew about money from, obviously, my environment, as we all do as we're growing up. And I wasn't really given a financial education. I pretty much, get what you need, get what you want, spend the rest. And so in living that way, that's kind of carried me through into my adulthood. And, I went into the Army with almost $42,000 of debt, credit card debt, while going to school. Luckily, I was able to get that paid for through, a myriad of different ways. But what I found was, as I've been in the fitness industry now for almost 25 years, I found that, as I'm sitting there and I'm training somebody, they're confiding in me. They're saying, okay, well, I work for this company, I do this, and they're kind of telling me their woes. And a lot of the time, it seemed like it was going right back to the finances, either the finances of themselves, their family, their kids. So as I've, like I said, I've been in the fitness industry as long as I had, I wanted to now kind of brand myself and want to work on the health and wealth aspect of things. So when I meet with a family for free, I do not charge them for my services. We will basically go through their entire financial snapshot because nobody's, it's not a one size fits all. Nobody can say, okay, well, I'm going to put you into this box. We really look at what it is that they have going on. But before that, I want to teach them how money works, basically utilizing the concepts and ideas that the 1% that we hear a lot about, and we've heard a lot about over the past few years, especially the 1 to 2% of the population. Maybe if you're talking an area that's a little bit more affluent, you might have closer to 3% that's actually on track for their financial future and for the financial future of their children and retirement and those kind of things. Then we will teach them very simple concepts and solutions. If they want to take advantage of it, great. If not, I know that they have a lot more information, a lot more knowledge than they did than when I sat down with them.
How do you get paid? If it's free, how do you get paid?
Well, we represent, our firm actually represents almost 300 different companies on our platform. And so in doing so, they pay us uniformly across the board. We're not incentivized to push one particular product, service, or solution. So what ends up happening is because especially now with suitability laws, especially with the elderly, especially with, the things that have gone on, 2008, 2009, even before that, savings and loans, if you're old enough to remember the savings and loan scandal, the dot-com boom. With all of those things, what's happened now
Ernie,
is...
we're old enough, Jimmy and I, to remember her.
Well, exactly. I'm sitting here. It's like I'm watching a tennis match between the two of you, kind of going back and forth as I'm sitting here.
We're
in the
old
middle.
enough to remember we don't have any savings and we have a lot of loans.
I was never a spender.
Listen,
were you?
Well, I was always a spender. You
were?
Definitely. And what you're getting at, I think, is the most important thing. I don't think we are properly educating kids early enough about the financial process. You know, we push kids into college right now like at a crazy rate, and we put them in these schools that cost enormous amounts of money to go to. We don't teach them the everyday things of life, how to go to a bank and get a loan, how to balance a checkbook, how to use somebody else's money. How, you know, we just don't teach them the financial sense that you need to go out into the real world until it's too late. You know, most people get in their 30s or 40s before they finally got a job and they're making a little bit of money, but it's too late by then. They're paying off all these big loans. They got sucked into the car loans, the home loan, the paying off student loans. It's hard. You can't wait till you're 30 or 40 years old to start planning your life, you know.
Well, that's your opinion, unless you marry a wealthy person.
Well, we heard how well that worked for your kids, so I've got mine saving from a very early age. I don't know. We're trying that route.
Oh, my goodness. The show's called The Business Life. It's literally about nothing. But we try to entertain you a little bit, sometimes educate you. That's why Ernie Salazar here. Your comment, Jimmy, is spot on. My God, if Ernie could do that, educate people, even on the basics.
But Ernie's human. He can't do all of that. You know, he can help, and he's doing the right thing. But, I mean, it's a big, complicated process. We got to start much earlier, getting our kids up to speed on how the world works. A little bit of streetwise and a little bit of, you know, education will go a long way, but we're waiting way too late to get people going.
Is Halloween a good night to start that education?
Yeah, we're doing a forum at my house tonight. Just goblins and ghouls from 7 to 8.
No, make
8
them
to 9. We're doing the Star Wars characters.
No, but I mean
they're all hyped up on candy. Be a great captive audience.
It's called Dental Day. I mean, I never mind. Back to Ernie Salazar, ex-Army Ranger. So, what is? I mean, is it too late for Jimmy to start?
No, actually, it's not. It's interesting because...
Take a look at him before you say that, though.
I will sit down with anybody. It doesn't matter if you're, a single parent or an individual, all the way up to a corporation. We don't treat anybody any differently. We're not going to prejudge. We're not going to expect you to have a certain net worth or amount of money that you're bringing in. But as you talked about it, Jimmy, obviously the education piece is huge. I remember... I graduated high school in '93. We had an internship with Home Savings when Home Savings was around, and part of that class was actually learning the basics of finance, the basics of checkbook and all that kind of stuff, things that don't get taught. And I think that, for me personally, money was somewhat taboo. I think because of the fact that you don't have it, so people think, hey, money's bad. Now that's not the ideology that everybody has, but children, parents don't have those conversations with their children, really talk about money. I think what happens is it's more the negative side of things. And of course, with my upbringing, we did have some things, and then through circumstances and things that happened in the family, it was all gone. Losing our home and all those kind of things. So I got used to that kind of conditioning. So I was always kind of operating there. As you kind of fast forward, of course, being preyed upon by credit card companies. Here, get a free Frisbee and this and that.
My kids they're in their 20s. They get so many credit card offers. I am offended. It blows me away.
Exactly.
How do they get the offers, through their phone?
Anytime you sign up, for anything. Nowadays they got the list and they immediately hit you with, here's $500, here's $1,000, whatever. And by the time you're 30, you like you said, you went into the Army with $42,000 of debt. Was that all just credit cards getting sent to you? Or?
Credit cards and other things. I had an auto loan and all that kind of stuff. So it's really money can work for you, as you were obviously talking a little bit about Jimmy. Money can work for you versus working against you. Now, when it comes to, as we talked about, obviously the education of children, setting up plans where a child can literally have all their college paid for, and that actually would be, in essence, tax exempt. Mm-hmm. So there are programs out there that have been utilized for years, and I'm not talking about your traditional 529 plans and all that kind of stuff. There are other alternatives out there, solutions that have been reserved, where you can actually pay for college after 4 years and you would have zero debt. So it's funny because I was talking with a gentleman the other day who his son was kind of at a point where he was kind of vacillating back and forth. Dad was wanting to push him into college, and he kind of turned and looked at his dad and said, Dad, I'm not going to go to college just because you want me to go. Mm-hmm. He goes, I want to go and try to live life a little bit, and then if college is right for me. And the dad succumbed to it, kind of let him go. And his son now is a very successful entrepreneur, but actually has a true business. He's not trying to raise seed money. He actually has a legitimate business that is sustaining him and his family. And so it was just one of those happenstance circumstances. He didn't get, $250,000 of debt that he has to pay, and then continue the cycle of stress. So, as you said, Coach, is it too late for Jimmy? No. A lot of people have obviously depended on their companies. They've depended on somebody else managing their money. I teach people how to own their own stuff, to where, if they lose or move companies, then it's theirs and they're managing it. They're not letting somebody else kind of dictate the strings.
No, that's a good point. I
also think the fallacy of people think, I don't have any money, so I don't need a financial planner. But that's probably the most important time to really start learning how to manage money. And it's that same thing like you said when you're growing up. If you didn't have any money, you were a little bit intimidated by approaching someone like yourself and getting advice, or what do? You walk in and go, hey, I have no money, but I need your help.
Exactly, and that's where we're at, because we're looking at I'm more the hub of a wheel. I have so many different resources that I can tap into as I'm working with somebody. Not every solution is going to fit their particular scenario. They might have X, Y, and Z, which is in place because of their company or whatever. Great. Well, we might have to work on A, B, and C over here. Are we managing their debt? Are we working on long-term savings, short-term savings? The big thing recently has been obviously talking about long-term care. People are living longer. They're not. They don't want to have to be a burden on their families.
Yep.
So there's a lot of older people, and this is where the suitability locks come into play, is because people have preyed on that and said, oh, hey, well, we're going to be able, for you to be able to be home or to take care of yourself, and your family's not going to have to worry about it. But unfortunately, they were not, people were very unscrupulous, and they actually ended up, pulling the wool over their person's eyes, and now they're in a situation where families having to step in.
Sure.
Or you have somebody who's having, because their company went out of business, they're having to work at Walmart as a greeter, not against anybody at Walmart, but just one of those things where now you're going to have an encore, not just one encore career, but maybe 2 or 3 just to make up for the shortfall.
But the whole educational system, and Jim and I have talked about it until we don't want to talk about it anymore, but it's broken because there's so many truths that aren't discussed. Mm-hmm. You can get into an occupation. One of my grandsons, I have 9, so I'm not going to tell you which one, he was pursuing an occupation to do music, like what you do, Jimmy, work the
editing
and all composing, all that. And he looked at a school, I won't tell you what the state, because then I would give it away if one of my grandkids is listening. But the career pay is only averaging $35,000 a year. Mm-hmm. So you can't live in California and survive properly, in my mind, $35,000 a year, or any state.
Anywhere. So that's the catch-22 of the whole thing, though, and we've talked about that, too. Like, here's another thing. You can't go and get a really good job these days without a college degree. That's the dividing point. It's the 75-25.
Job, that's a whole big subject. Job versus making your own life.
Mm-hmm. But, most HR departments these days, when they're going looking through the morning, if you don't have the college degree, you just get thrown in the pile.
I agree.
They only look at the 25% that do. I'm not saying everyone. So that leaves what? Entrepreneurship. You're either an entrepreneur or you're going to go to college and go that route and get into the system. But there's so many barriers. It's just not, the system's very complicated now. There's too many bars they've set that are unreachable.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up, because on the other side of it is obviously helping people manage what they're currently making, what they're bringing in. We have another part of our business is actually to teach people business ownership, actually teach them the ability to bring in an additional income source through multiple streams, so that they're able to, if they want to work on a part-time basis, great, on an almost no-time basis, great. We have a full-time dentist in our office who literally, his practice is booming, and last year, in kind of really, really minimal part-time, he made over 6 figures. So it's just one of those
investing in candy. No, I was kidding.
There you go. So he was just one of those situations.
Nestle.
Exactly. So it's one of those situations where, we also can teach people how to own their own business, how to own their own stuff. Coach, you and I were talking a little bit about franchises and just, the perceived whole, business ownership. You figure that jobs in the U.S. is a very new concept, come turn of the 20th century. Before then, everybody worked on a farm. You had a business. You, in essence, were a business owner, and we've kind of gotten away from that to go the direction of, wanting to have this, this machine that's operating, and now people are trying to go back to that. As we're talking about education, I spent some time in Germany, and their school system is set up in a way to where when you hit high school, or what they call university, you can go 2 paths. You can become a worker, or you can become some sort of specialized field. And depending on your assessments, they will actually, take you in whatever direction. And that's why they have an incredible workforce. They're very productive. Now, not to say that couldn't work here, but there's a lot of examples out there that could be used.
The problem is most of those jobs are gone now. Like when you and I were in school and you had T&I shop, you learned, skills to do with your hands. Most of those jobs are gone now. The industrialized world is shrunk to almost nothing. You look at how technology just changed everything. You don't need a lot of people to do a lot of jobs. Most companies don't want 40-hour employees. They want part-time employees, so they don't have to pay benefits.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. It's a huge, complicated process. It just goes all the way down the ladder. You go to college, you get your 4-year degree, you're $300,000 in debt. Nobody wants to hire you at 40 hours. Nobody wants to pay you any benefits. Can't afford to get an apartment. Apartments are $2,500. It's just on and on and on. We've just piled it on so bad. It's hard to make it now.
It's very complicated, and this is go back to the opening of the show where I'm saying maybe you take young people, put them into public service, whether it's armed forces or some service where they learn. Jim, your skills and my skills. Yes, you and I went to college, but our people skills of what have developed our lives. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
So,
but those skills don't necessarily translate in the modern world. We, for a better term, we were street hustlers. You got thrown out there and you learned how to.
We were grinders.
Right, but that doesn't really exist as much anymore. I mean, I think it does, but there's a different way. I also think there's no greater time right now than to be an entrepreneur and start your own business. The technology and the assets available to you to do that have never been greater, in my opinion. I mean, if you're smart, or even if you're not smart, if you can just look at the big picture and get into some technology and figure out a service or something that people need, it's out there, and you can hit a lot of people very quickly. In our day, you had to go one-on-one. You had to sell this guy, then go to this guy. Now you can hit 30,000, 40,000 people at one time with your product or service.
Good point. We'll be right back. Show's called The Business Life. Here's my question when we come back. I'm going to ask both the Sergeant and Jimmy Piccirillo. Both of you guys are hustlers in a positive way, street grinders. Where is that being taught? How does a Cody Como learn how to do that? We'll be right back on the show called The Business of Life on KHTS 1220 AM.
Do you know a single parent struggling either financially or emotionally in the Santa Clarita Valley? Single Mothers Outreach is an organization that focuses exclusively on the needs of vulnerable single parents. Single Mothers Outreach provides assistance with housing, financial organization, life and career skills, in addition to emotional health and support. Single Mothers Outreach also provides single parents with a community of people who understand exactly what a single parent goes through and the struggles he or she faces on a day-to-day basis. Visit singlemothersoutreach.org.
The Santa Clarita Artists Association has a new gallery in downtown Newhall on 6th Street between Main and Railroad, right across from the Canyon Theater Guild. The gallery features our members' paintings, sculptures, and one-of-a-kind handcrafted gift items. Whether you're an art lover, buyer, or an artist wishing to join, visit our website at santaclaritaartist.org, come to our free monthly meetings at Barnes & Noble, or stop by the gallery. For upcoming events and exhibits, check us out at santaclaritaartist.org. We make visual art visible.
Tucked away in Canyon Country is an upscale, intimate, unforgettable dining experience. Taste the wonders of Italy at Piccola Trattoria. This gem of a restaurant is our valley's best-kept secret, but not for long. The secret will be out once you've tasted their homemade pastas, pizzas, ossobuco, or their scrumptious sausage, fresh seafood or steaks. Better save room for dessert. Your table will be fighting over who gets the final bite of their heavenly tiramisu. Piccola Trattoria, off Sierra Highway on Dolan Way. Your unforgettable dining experience.
First impressions say it all. Choosing the right makeup is critical to that first impression and keeping your skin looking young and healthy. That's why Santa Clarita's Jen Gerard created Gerard Cosmetics. Inspired by women of all ages who gravitate toward classic and timeless beauty with a modern twist, Gerard Cosmetics. Superb quality and pigmentation, along with lip glosses and lipsticks in colors for everyone. The internationally acclaimed Gerard Cosmetics. Discover your new look at gerardcosmetics.com.
A royal suite.
For the first time in their history, 50% off everything in the store. It's the huge 40th anniversary sale at a Royal Suite Home Furnishings. Everything, yes, everything is on sale at 50% off. Bedrooms, dining rooms, living rooms, recliners, and Murphy beds, all 50% off. Even their huge selection of mattresses from Diamond and Englander. See their new line of adjustable beds at 50% off. Nothing will be held back. Every item from every manufacturer. Hurry, it's the final day. Everything 50% off at the big 40th anniversary sale at a Royal Suite Home Furnishings in Center Point across from Sam's Club or at aroyalsuite.com.
Hometown.
I wanted to let you know that I really appreciate the way you guys do what you do.
Your hometown station.
Our flagship station right here in Santa Clarita, California.
Just blew your mind, didn't I?
It did, yes. Well, you know this stuff. I don't. KHTS 1220 AM, the Business Life, Jim Piccirillo, and the Coach Ron Tunick with our very special in-studio guest, Sergeant Ernie Salazar. Also, our show brought to you by RevUpAutosports.com.
Hey!
RevUpAutosports.com.
Woo, Coach got it right.
You want to buy a car, sell a car, paint a car? No, you don't paint cars.
Look at a car, drive a car.
Man, that Mercedes.
Put an order in, baby. We'll get you a car.
I tried to buy that Mercedes from you.
Money talks.
And Ellen said, "Are you crazy?
Well, why
How
would
many
you ask
cars?"
Ellen? No, why would you ask your wife if you can buy a car?
Oh, like you don't ask Brenda for everything? Are you kidding me, you little liar?
No.
Huh?
No,
yeah,
no.
Look at him, Cody.
I buy him.
Cody.
I pull him in the driveway and say, "Hey, come out there. I want to show you something."
Yeah, right. Brenda, if you're listening to the show, call the coach. All right, back to my question.
I can get away because I know Brenda's not listening.
Oh, okay. How do you learn how to hustle, man? Because I don't. During the break, we were talking about it's a different world. Okay, I get that, but I still think the hustler, the grinder, the guy that wants it more, that person still stands out. Yes or no, Jim Piccirillo?
Yes, but I want to say one thing. We had to do it. There was no tomorrow. There was no. Our kids, for most part, and I would say most kids, not most kids, but a large portion of the kids have been brought up in affluent families. And when I say affluent, I'm talking upper middle class. They didn't have the same. They're not worried if where their car is coming from, the gas to put in it, the roof to go over your head. A lot of kids don't have those problems that. Well, that's kind of unfair. A lot of kids really do.
But the other thing is, you and I, although we grew up poor, we somehow made it to this middle class. But what about kids who grew up like where you did in Sylmar with broken homes? You just said it a few minutes ago. You didn't know anything about money. So what do we? There's this growing population like that who cares about it other than Ernie Salazar?
Well, there's a big gap. Exactly. That's it. It's the big gap. Where do you get a hold of kids, and at what point, and how do they learn it, and who's teaching them?
But the gap's getting bigger.
Who cares? Let's ask the average person walking the street today if you know what's in the new proposed tax plan. Most people don't know. Most people don't care. They haven't even looked at it, how it affects them personally. All they know is, if I'm a Democrat or a Republican or who's for it or who's against it. They're not even looking at the details to know what's in the thing. So, again, you got to educate people. You got to get to them early. Make them aware of their own personal fiscal and fiscal fitness,
Ernie, do you do this in groups? How do you go about doing this?
Actually, it's interesting. I like to meet belly to belly, obviously meeting with the family. Because of the fact that you actually touched on it, Coach, the fact that businesses now are downsizing, they are not putting on full-time employees because then they don't have to meet the requirements to have any kind of benefits. I can actually step into a business, even a small business, and actually not only with the owner or the management team, I can actually create an entire benefits package for everybody, and it's not going to cost the owner anything. It literally now gives the empowerment to the employee, and they figure, hey, I now have benefits. I have something that I've been wanting, or my friends don't have, and it's something that I need for security. And we're able to take care of that full fast.
But doesn't the employer have to match those kind of benefit packages?
No, not at all. Because once again, if we're dealing with part-time employees and things like that, then we can set up, savings plans. For example, just asking somebody. I don't know if Cody knows this question. Maybe he will. Cody, what's the current average interest rate on a bank savings account or checking account right now?
I have no idea. To be honest, I have nowhere to start.
Okay, so about 0.0274.
Ridiculous.
Okay, so 0.02.
Yeah,
so put $50 in a week, and by the time you're 875 years old, you'll have enough to.
I know. It's
200 whole dollars?
You got to come back, Ernie. It's such a. Hopefully, we stimulated somebody's thinking out there. Then get a hold of you on Facebook, giving out the phone number. Most people, do you realize every 12 to 15 cars people are listening to our station, but they're driving. So
exactly.
Giving out the phone number, but they can find you on Facebook, Ernie Salazar.
Ernie Salazar on Facebook, Ernie at ErnieSalazar.com.
Okay.
It's usually the easiest way. Instagram, it's eSalazar, 2 I's, II. There you go.
Well, we'll have you back. So I want to change subjects. Is it okay to ask for a community prayer for the Dodgers to win, Jimmy? Do you think that's appropriate?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Anything that we can get, I guess, you know.
You don't care. You're just like my wife. You could care less.
Listen, man,
Who wins the World Series?
Who does not like these games? I mean, what do you think? Oh, quickly, what do you think about the juiced baseballs? Is that real or no?
Not real. No.
Really?
No. It's
So
all.
why are the pitchers saying these balls are juiced, and why are they hitting so many home runs?
Excuses. It's an excuse. Do you think Rawlings, who makes the baseball, would do anything to jeopardize their reputation or their name? Come on, Jimmy.
But if they were told to do it,
no, stop it.
Or they're going to give it.
Okay,
to...
who would tell them? The commissioner?
Yeah.
And put his career, his life on the line?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think what happens is a rumor gets started. Okay.
Verlander, the actual pitcher was saying this.
I understand.
The actual
They're all
guys.
saying
So it wasn't just a rumor. This is the guy that actually touched the ball and threw it across the plate.
See you next week at 1 o'clock.
Evil conspiracies happening. Go Dodgers.